All right, let me call the meeting to order. This is a regularly scheduled, called and convened Greer City Council meeting held October the 22nd, 2024. Having called the meeting to order, I'd like to ask you to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by an invocation for council.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Heavenly Father, we thank you for the opportunity to be here together this evening, conducting the business of your city. Lord, we thank you for the way that you have blessed us, Lord, as a nation and a state, Lord, certainly within our community and individually as well. And we just pray you'd make us mindful of your blessings as we come into the holiday season and help us see you at work in our lives in a fresh way. Lord, as we approach elections as a nation and even locally, we pray that you would help us to have the proper perspective, understanding that no party or person is our ultimate hope, but only you. And help us to vote according to what would bring honor to your name. Lord, help us this evening as we conduct business. Help us to be fair and just and wise. And Lord, help us to honor you in all we do and say. We pray in Jesus' name, amen.
Mr. Duncan, anyone to appear in public forum this evening?
No, sir.
Thank you. With that, council, we've got a couple of recognitions that we want to do this evening. Always glad to recognize folks that are doing things to help better our community. And this evening, we've got two folks that we want to recognize. Adara, I'm going to have to ask you to help me with your name. You'll come on up, and we'll get started that way. How about that? I didn't make it. Okay, you are, and you've got somebody with you that you would like to invite up. Ah, this one I know, both names. Actually, my neighbor, and so I appreciate y'all coming this evening. And with that, this is a proclamation offered this evening in regards to Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. And whereas childhood cancer remains the leading cause of death by disease for children in the United States, with nearly 16,000 children under the age of 21 diagnosed with cancer each year, and approximately 1,800 losing their lives to the disease annually. Whereas September is recognized worldwide as Childhood Cancer Awareness Month, a month to highlight the impact of this devastating disease on children. Efforts to raise awareness, fund research, and improve the quality of life for young patients. And whereas increased awareness of the symptoms and early warning signs of childhood cancer can lead to early diagnoses and more effective treatments, potentially saving lives and reducing the long-term impact on survivors. And whereas the City of Greer recognizes the courage, strength, and resilience of children diagnosed with cancer, as well as the dedication of their families, caregivers, medical professionals, and researchers who are working tirelessly to find cures and provide care. Whereas the City of Greer acknowledges the ongoing efforts of local organizations such as the Chemo Cancer Foundation to provide critical support services, raise awareness, and advocate for better resources and treatment options for childhood cancer patients and their families.
working to make sure that people know more about childhood cancer. We just got back from DC, where we had advocacy. The advocacy actually used young people. My daughter happened to be one of them. Children from all over the United States gathered between the ages of 8 and 21. And the Congress, going from office to office to talk to the congressmen about the importance of supporting research. And there were two bills that had been before the House and the Senate. And one of those bills was to make sure that children with cancer can get combined therapies when it comes to relapsed cancer, just like adults do. So it happens that children that have relapsed cancer do not get combined therapies. They only get one drug at a time. And you can imagine if you try a drug and it doesn't work, you would have had to try that drug 2-3 times before the doctor realizes it's not working, and then decides to try another one, and then the cancer is still doing what cancer does. And so this has been leading to loss of lives of children. And so trying to get the FDA to approve combined therapies for children has been a Herculean task for these organizations. And so they got young people to go to, and our senator was actually one of the offices that my daughter got to go to and to talk to them about it. And thankfully, just as we got back to South Carolina, we got back to Greer, we got news that the House had approved that bill. And it's just waiting for the Senate to do so. And so that was a very big thing that we've done this year, and we are really proud of it. The second thing was to incentivize pharmaceutical companies to make drugs for children. Data shows that over the past 40 years, only 3 drugs have been made specifically for childhood cancer. You can't say the same for adults. So what happens is that when a child is diagnosed with cancer, the doctors get to just adapt adult medicines for kids. And so there's a lot of side effects that come with those medications. And so to incentivize pharmaceutical companies, the government wants a situation where they can tell them, okay, if you make this one drug for childhood cancer, we give you like a voucher to make an adult medicine that you can make $100 million on it. And that seems to be what worked for the past 5 years. The bill had been passed. It came up for pass. It was passed for 5 years and was meant to be renewed. And there was a little tell you how politics is. And so they did the work, and that bill was also approved. And so it's now waiting for Senate to go ahead and pass the bill, and then it would get to the presidency. But that is part of the work that we have been doing, and the work that we're really proud of this year. We work with Prisma Hospital also to visit the children and create an opportunity for them to feel the joy and the support of the community. We have comfort boxes that we send to children who have been diagnosed, and we just try to do things to make them, it's a growing journey, and we try to do things to make them feel good. And this is also coming from a personal place for me. This nonprofit was created because my son passed away from childhood cancer. He was 10 when he was diagnosed, and he passed away when he was 12, on Christmas Day, no less. So it's been a journey for us, but we find ourselves especially blessed to be able to do something to make sure that other families do not go through the pain that we are going through. And I really, really, really want to thank the mayor and the city council for approving our mission. And next year, please look out for us. We are coming September. We are going to be in your faces. We are going to do a lot of events. We are not going to be able to get rid of us. So watch out for us. Thank you so, so much. Appreciate it. And thanks, Ms. Tabelash, is the one that I've been in communication with back and forth. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
All right, now, don't go anywhere, because I'm not going to let Danielle get off. Danielle Cheatham is literally my neighbor, and I guess works with your organization and helps you. Danielle is a nurse practitioner at Spartanburg Regional, and Danielle, I'll tell you, but I will. She was the care provider of the year for Spartanburg Regional last year, and was honored recently, an election in her honor, and so she is working to keep our community healthy and safe as well too. So give Danielle there.
Oh, we've got somebody here from the Red Ribbon Group, do we not?
Yes, sir.
Okay, come on up front here. You're a little smaller than the one that usually comes. He must be in the real Marines by now, I guess. Is that it? What's your name? Caden. All right, Caden. Well, Caden, we've been doing this for quite a while, and we'll be glad to give this to you. This is a proclamation that declares Red Ribbon Week in the city of Greer, and it reads like this: whereas communities across America have been plagued by numerous problems associated with illicit drug use and those that traffic in them, and whereas there is hope in winning the war on drugs, and that hope lies in education and drug demand reduction, coupled with hard work and determination of organizations such as the Young Marines of the Marine Corps League to foster a healthy, drug-free lifestyle. Whereas governments and community leaders know that citizen support is one of the most effective tools in the effort to reduce the use of illicit drugs in our communities. And whereas the Red Ribbon has been chosen as a symbol commemorating the work of Enrique Camara, a drug enforcement administration agent who was murdered in the line of duty, and represents the belief that one person can make a difference. And whereas the Red Ribbon campaign was established by Congress in 1988 to encourage a drug-free lifestyle and involvement in drug prevention and reduction efforts, whereas October the 23rd through 31st has been designated National Red Ribbon Week, which encourages Americans to wear a red ribbon to show their support for a drug-free environment. Therefore, the Greer City Council declares October 23rd through 31st, 2024 as Red Ribbon Week in Greer, South Carolina, and urge all citizens of Greer, South Carolina to join me in this special observance. And with that, let's give a big round of applause to Katie and the work that he is doing. Turn it around so Mom can see. Yeah.
All right.
Thank
Sure,
you.
if it's okay, I'd like to present each council member with a
Sure.
red ribbon.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, big love.
Starting with you, sir.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Katie, thank you for your work.
Thank you.
What you do. Appreciate it.
And definitely, thank you all for supporting the Young Marines each year for doing Red Ribbon Week. I'm Sergeant Major Roberts, I'm in charge of the group. We've been around since 2004, and we're a youth education program for boys and girls ages 8 to completion high school. And we're a community-based program, nonprofit program. We love the things that we do with the kids getting out talking about staying drug-free and things like that, and just continue to do the work that we do, and hopefully we can put a dent in the things that's out there that needs.
Thank you.
That's great.
We can do that. All right. Thank y'all. All righty, council, let me see if I can find my place here, and we will start again. Departmental reports are contained in your packet this evening. You can get with the administrator or department head in regards to questions in that regard.
Minutes. Skipped over the minutes.
Thank you, sir. We could have come back to him, Chris, but you're fine. Yeah, Riley did this once, and I've done it for 24 years, and he's a lot better at it than I am. He doesn't skip things like I do. Council, let's do dispense of the minutes. You have the minutes from October 8th, 2024 in your packet. I'll entertain a motion to receive.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any items of note for the clerk? I do appreciate Mr. Bettis filling in for me in my absence, and I got to watch a council meeting in action, so nice to see what our citizens see on the other side. Hearing none, Ms. Duncan.
Mr. Airwood,
Yes.
Mr. Booker,
Yes.
Mr. Hopper,
Yes.
Mr. Bettis,
Yes.
Ms. Albert,
Yes.
Mayor Danner.
Yes. All right, Chris, you can start making your way back over here. We are going to do the financial report here in a second. If you've got questions or comments in regards to the departmental reports, Mr. Merriman or Mr. Sell will be glad to assist you with those. Floor is yours, sir.
Good evening, Mayor, council members. Thank you. The financial summary for the month end, September 2024. In the general fund, we had a cash balance of $5,444,000. Year-to-date revenues were $2,699,000. Year-to-date expenditures were $10,361,000, with a total percentage of 4% over budget. We had an unfavorable revenue benchmark variance of $738,000. We had a favorable expenditure benchmark variance of $1,603,000, with an overall favorable benchmark variance of $865,000. Moving on to the hospitality fund, we had a cash balance of $1,822,000. Year-to-date revenues were $941,340. Year-to-date expenditures were $133,844. And we had 2% above the monthly budgeted amount for collections, with being $6,466. And finally, stormwater fund, we had a cash balance of $2,706,000. Year-to-date revenues of $50,554. And year-to-date expenditures of $521,939. And with that, I'd be happy to stand for any questions you may have.
Thank you, sir. Council, questions? Comments? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. With that, let's move to the administrator's report. Mr. Sell steps in for Mr. Merriman tonight, and we welcome his presence here as he leads us through this meeting in Mr. Merriman's absence. Mr. Sell, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mayor. Council, tonight a few items from the administrator's report. Starting off with the convenience center, we reopened that on the 21st, which was Monday. Collection, though, of the waste oil, household batteries, and e-waste has been stopped for now, but we hope to resume that at some point in the near future. As part of the renovations to the center that are upcoming, the current building is going to be demolished. Temporary fence is going to be installed around the construction area by the end of this month. The convenience center will still be operational during that time, but there will be some intermittent closures depending on what's going on a particular given day. We will make sure we put notice out ahead of time of when those closures would take place. For more information and to view a map of the centers in the Greer area, you can visit our convenience center page on the City of Greer's website. It also will indicate where while the waste oil and the other items aren't being collected, where you can take those to the county convenience centers. So that information is available on our website. National Night Out last week, the police department Went out to 3 different neighborhoods to celebrate this year's National Night Out and spend a little time with our neighbors in the community. It was a big success. This provides an opportunity for community to get together and engage with our law enforcement folks and first responders in a fun and an atmosphere that allows for an exchange and dialogue that's more comfortable than coming to the police department to talk about your concerns and issues. Also, just as a reminder, Trunk or Treat on Trade is coming up. The City of Greer Police Department, again, is organizing their Trunk or Treat. It's going to be on October 31st from 6 to 8. It's going to be held on Trade Street. Come out and join the police department as Greer Station gets spooky this Halloween. We are hoping that, given the circumstances this year with a lot of debris around, that, the community is going to take advantage of coming out to a place that's clear and safe, and we hope to have a lot of folks out there this year for the Trunk or Treat on Trade. Also, Cops or Tots is on the horizon. Families needing assistance through this year's Cops or Tots program may fill out an online application, or they can pick up a paper application at the police department lobby from this past Monday through November 25th. The Greer Police Department is also accepting donations from now until the event on December 12th. And there'll be more information coming out about that as we move forward. Arts and Eats, Chamber of Commerce, Greer Chamber of Commerce will have their Arts and Eats Festival on Saturday, October 26th. That's this weekend from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. in downtown Greer. There'll be artists, live music, food, kids, creation station, craft beer and wine, and the public can go to the Chamber's website to get more information about that particular event. Also coming up for us in fact, I guess it's tonight, the Hispanic and Latino Heritage Art Reception is being held tonight from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. at the City of Greer Center for the Arts. The art exhibition will be on display through November 2nd. Greer's Children's Theater is going to be doing a performance of The Wizard of Oz, and it's going to be held at Canaan Center Friday, October 25th through Sunday, October 27th. Again, the public can go to our website to find out performance times for that performance. Also coming up is Day of the Dead Festival. Join us for a vibrant celebration of Mexican culture at our Day of Dead Festival on November 2nd from 2 to 7 p.m. Experience festive music, art, and food while learning about this rich cultural tradition. The family-friendly event will be an indoor-outdoor events held over at the City of Greer Center for the Arts, and will also include a parade, artist market, traditional crafts, and education about monarch conservation will be held at the same time. Finally, we have Breakfast with Santa coming up. Join us for the 2024 Breakfast with Santa, always a very popular event here in the City of Greer. Free activities include free crafts, letters to Santa, and children will have an opportunity to talk with Santa. Family photo sessions are also available on site. Ticket sales will be available starting November 4th at 7 p.m. for purchase online or by phone at 864-968-7008. Mayor and council, also on your desk tonight, I think a few meetings past, Councilman Airwood asked for some information regarding elevations and layout of the new police training facility, police and fire training facility. We're going to have an item on the agenda later on regarding an earlier release work for that site, but I want to provide that information to you for your review. Take your time and looking over it. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me or our team and our staff to answer those questions. Right now, color selections for some of the facade work is what's kind of left in regards to that particular building. If you'd like to come by my office and take a look at the samples and express your opinion about them, feel free to. And I'll be glad to go over that information with you at your convenience. With that, I have nothing else for the administrator's report, but I'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you, sir. Questions or comments for Mr. Sell?
Yes, sir. I've got a couple of items that I just want to make mention that we've been talking about for a good while, and spoke to you earlier this week about the if we go back to the department reports and look at the fire department's tracking of the arrival of EMS on our medical calls, we have looks like another 15 calls that exceeded 30 minutes. I think 9's 30 minutes plus, and 5 or 6 is over 40 minutes. I've said this before, that is unacceptable. I know, Mayor, you were telling me that you had spoken with the chairman of the county council, and probably there's not going to be a lot of relief that we receive from them. So I think it's vital for us, a few things. We need to figure out a way to increase or decrease the response times from EMS, and also how we claw back some of the dollars that we spend basically supplementing the county by providing ALS, where we're providing a lot of drugs that we don't get reimbursed for. We have a lot of medical equipment, high-end equipment that we have, because if we're going to provide the service, we have to have it in the absence of EMS. So I believe our fire chief has some ideas about how we can go about trying to rectify at least some of the situation. But I think that staff should probably sit down and put their heads together as to how we can move forward to better serve our citizens with response times, and also serve our citizens so we're not supplementing the county with our tax dollars that should be left here. The other item is, and I've spoken about this before, I've asked, what's the status of our cable TV channel? And the response that I have received several times as well, when Spectrum switched over to all digital, we didn't have the ability to have our channel, and that we're working on it. This communication, a part of our communications, and a lot of our population used that TV channel to gather information as to what was going on in the city, and who we are, how to get in contact with us, that kind of thing. It's not there anymore. And during this, the hurricane, I think that when we go back and debrief and find out, what could we have done better? One of the weak spots that our city probably will say is communication, and lack of the TV channel just goes right along with it. So I think we need to figure out why we don't have that channel anymore, and make sure that we do have a cable TV channel as soon as possible.
Mr. Airwood, just a quick note. I did have an opportunity to sit down with Mr. Sell in regards to the ambulance issue, and he raised I think a very valid point that this will ultimately fall to the hands of the county council, and we know there's some changes coming up there, but Mr. Sell offered that we might want to gauge interest from the other cities and ask them to look at their times in terms of EMS response, and see if this is a county-wide issue, and if it is, approach this in a fashion that it affects the entire county and not just us, and so it may bring a little extra pressure to them to try or do something.
That's fine, as long as we're working for some kind of solution.
Okay, thank you. Others? Anything else from Mr. Sell?
Mr. Sell, I've gotten several comments of appreciation of how we responded. Our team, different departments responded in the aftermath of Helene. Especially folks have appreciated the coordination and the planning for debris pickup. continue to get some questions just for updates and that kind of thing. Any updates as far as our schedule? That way, are we on schedule, picking up according to what we'd laid out?
The schedule, what's been laid out, really hasn't changed. I think that the timing of DOT really getting in here and starting their portion of the work as they're covering a large area and they're taking it, I don't say, they're going to be working things in conjunction with whether they're servicing another municipality in Greenville County or Spartanburg County or maybe Oconee County, but they're bringing the resources in. I think we'll start to see that movement here within the next few days. We just secured a location locally that they're going to be able to utilize for them to dispose of debris and get it chipped up and then transport it out, which will help speed up the process so they don't have to transport it long distances. We've gotten a site identified and we're sharing that information with them. So we're hoping to see it ramped up. We continue at the staff level to tackle the problem ourselves. We're out there still working to get things up. As you're aware, we are getting ready to transition into a number of items that those folks work on at this time of year, not to minimize the need to get the debris up, but we also have Christmas decorations to install, and we have leaf season that starts, well, we're going to delay, it's delayed a week, but, that's starting up. And so we're trying to make sure that we balance out us being able to transition our staff into those normal operations while still supporting the debris pickup and in doing that in conjunction with DOT getting hot and heavy into our community. We haven't got a definitive, I'm going to have X amount of number of resources in the city at on this particular day, but we do know that they have started touching upon the edges. I think we'll see that over the next couple of days. There'll be much more debris getting picked up. And we'll continue to bring updates to council as necessary and the public.
So that zone approach that was laid out by the loose leaf collection, that's still roughly the plan and roughly on schedule then?
Yeah, we're wanting to communicate with DOT that will be very helpful if they could help follow that particular pattern. Because that way we could be able to come in and be able to get up, do the leaf pickup as we go along. I think the responsiveness is going to determine, they've asked for our city maps, and I think as we provide that information to them, if we give them a pattern, I'm sure they're going to try to get in and follow that pattern as much as possible. I think having a local site will help with that, because that way they'll be able to not have to worry about trying to work from the fringes inward, so that way we can work maybe more from the inside out, and I think that'll be much more conducive to being able to follow that pattern that we've laid out. If that changes, we will get that information out as soon as possible.
Great, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Hopper, it's splitting hairs at this point after a weather event like we had, but I think one of the things that has caused me some concern is the amount of debris that is being left on the curb by tree companies that are doing work. Obviously, in a lot of cases, this is well beyond the ability of someone to clean up their yard, and massive piles in some places. And I noticed somebody recently that was removing stumps with a large piece of equipment and just setting them beside the road. So it's probably slowing us down to some regard.
Do we have any recourse in that situation?
I don't know that there is at
Just
this
trying
point.
to
Like
get
a
it
lot
up.
of things that we handle, it's kind of like you got to go out and observe the activity taking place. If we do encounter that happening, a contractor taking debris to the curb, that's not going to, sometimes they'll take, I've experienced contractors taking debris to the curb and then coming back and picking it up later. Now, I do know that happens. But other than observing it happening, there's not a whole lot, we're not going to get out and investigate to determine how it happened, even though, as the mayor mentioned, sometimes it's pretty obvious, the amount that it is, whether it can be done by a homeowner or not.
Yeah.
Even if we did see it happening, I don't think our ordinances prevent. The only thing we prevent in a normal situation is the length and the diameter of the material that's placed out there. I don't think we have anything else in the ordinances with any verbiage that says you can't hire somebody, because I would imagine what the homeowner is doing is talking, the contractor saying it's gonna be this, and then plus this if I haul it off. We'll just put it at the road. So,
What's a double-edged sword with it is that in this particular case, we don't, whereas that's the standard for our normal debris pickup, because really that's because what the trucks that pick it up can handle. Since we're using the knuckle booms and we're putting it in loaders, and it doesn't really, that length isn't as critical, it is met that way. The good thing about it is DOT, for them, what they're gonna pick up, they're not really gonna get into whether or not it was put out by a contractor or not. And so they're just handling the debris pickup, but we are keeping an eye on it. Anything that's reported to us or observed, we're addressing it as appropriately as we can.
Thank you, sir. Just as a matter of note, it occurred to me that Mr. Sell, who is our deputy city administrator, is helping us through the meeting tonight. And we have Katrina Woodruff, who is our assistant deputy city administrator, with us this evening as well, too. So we appreciate our staff and all they do, particularly as fill in from time to time for our administrator, and as you can tell, have a handle on the everyday operation of the city, and are both very effective employees in terms of the communication with the council and helping us in our day-to-day activities as well, too. So thank you to both of you. We appreciate all that you do for the city. With that then, council, let's move to old business. The only matter we have before us this evening is the second and final reading of ordinance number 41-2024. This is an ordinance authorizing the closure of an alley in the city of Greer, 133 Tremont Avenue. Action required. For the purpose of discussion, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion.
Second. And a second. Any new or additional information, Mr. Sell, in regards to ordinance 41-2024?
No, sir.
With that, then, any questions or discussion in regards to ordinance 41-2024? Hearing none, Ms. Duncan?
Mr. Aaronwood,
yes.
Mr. Booker,
Yes.
Mr. Hopper,
Yes.
Mr. Bettis,
Yes.
Miss Albert,
Yes.
Mayor Danner.
Yes. Council has moved to new business, where we will only find one item of business this evening, and that is the Police and Fire Training Facility Early Work Release. The City of Greer receives qualifications from Construction Managers at-Risk Services for the construction of the Police and Fire Training Facility to be located at 1985 Hood Road. There is more information in your packet about that, but this involves our contractor who was selected for the project engaging in the use of an early work release program. Mr. Guggenheimer is not with us this evening. Mr. Sell will cover this item for us.
Thank you, Mayor. Council will recall that when we let the project for the fire station, that the fire station and police training facility were part of that CMAR and that contract agreement that we entered into with our architectural firm, NPS, and our general contractor, Reeves Young. That obviously some time ago, the only thing that wasn't included in that contract was the price for the police and fire training facility. We spent since, I think, probably May or June of last year working on scope for the police and fire training facility, and began working on putting together budget estimates for that. We have gotten probably 95% of the way done with everything. We're getting very close to be able to have a final guaranteed maximum price from the contractor for that particular facility. I imagine hopefully by the end of November, we will be bringing that to council. However, we are anxious to get the crew started out there. We've been in discussions with Reeves Young, our GC on the project, and they have asked and we have agreed that we'd like to see to proceed with what we call an early work release for that, to be able to begin doing the grading and the demolition of the existing facilities on the property, the existing, the old fire station and the classroom building that's out on the site, as well as the fire tower, and begin grading out there. This will save us some money and keep us on schedule. We are a little extended, but not by much. By doing this, we will remain on schedule for the project overall. So we're asking tonight that council approve the early release package in the amount of $619,739 in order to move forward with the work on that particular site. As council is aware, this is the first project in our 4 Greer initiative that we will be working on.
Council, for the purpose of discussion, I'll entertain a motion
So moved.
Second.
and a second. Floor is open for discussion.
All right, this is just to get them started, like you said, on the demolition, the grubbing and the grading, and getting it ready for actual construction, correct?
Yes.
And it's relevant to the whole process, but not here tonight, but that building is not on sewer, correct?
The current building is not on sewer, correct?
Will it be?
No, sir. It will be on septic.
And I'm assuming the civil guys have included that. They
Yes, sir.
haven't missed anything.
Yeah, a lot of due diligence was paid for that. In fact, there was significant cost savings involved. To bring sewer to the site was a significant challenge. In fact, a good bit of the time that we spent over the past few months was dealing with that particular issue for a variety of different obstacles that were in the way. But the engineering work done by Stantec has been phenomenal on getting us set up for the right size septic system and be able to handle the needs for the site now and in well into the future.
Others? Comments? Further discussion? Hearing none, Ms. Duncan?
Mr. Arrowood,
Yes.
Mr. Booker,
Yes.
Mr. Hopper,
Yes.
Mr. Bettis,
Yes.
Miss Albert,
Yes.
Mayor Danner.
Yes. Council, we have no items for executive session this evening. Stand adjourned.